Welcome to Meet Your Nominee. This is Mariah Go from The Hollywood Reporter, and I'm here with Jimmi Simpson from Westworld.
Hey there.
Hi, Jimmy. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me in to chat.
Yeah, congratulations on Outstanding Guest Actor in a Drama Series.
Yeah, I'm so flattered.
Yeah.
I feel so honored to be considered one of the better guest performances of the year.
And you are one of 21 nominations for Westworld. How does it feel to be part of that big haul?
Kind of beyond my wildest dreams, because Westworld was, I never thought I'd be doing work kind of as complex as Lisa and Jonah have created. I always kind of hoped, wished, but I didn't really see it as my path. And to not only be able to do that level of work, but then to be included with these people that I've looked up to my whole life, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've said before that the first season of Westworld, you didn't even realize, maybe when you got the part, you didn't realize just how big of a part it was or how important it was. And then as you went into season 2, what was that like?
It was a surprise. The kind of beautiful workload that I was given for season 1, and I threw my soul into it because, like I said, I didn't think that was ever really going to happen, and I wanted to do the best job I could. And to then have to take that person that we all created, Joan and Lisa and myself and everybody involved, and then show in a couple episodes his devolution into Man in Black at his worst. You know, because the Man in Black, he ebbed, and then he's finding his new self. He's finding a wholer person in his later years. But I then had to go from the sweetest version of William to the most broken, to the most conflicted, and, you know, by nature of human brains, the most cold.
Yes.
So it was like they somehow threw another test just as hard, but with only 2 episodes to illustrate it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're nominated for Reunion, which is the
Yeah.
episode where you have a very different relationship with Dolores than you did with season 1.
Yeah.
Can you talk a
180.
little bit? Was that difficult for you and Evan?
It was much harder. It was somehow more arduous than the 9 episodes in the first season, just the 2, because we were building these characters kind of together because their love was defining them, their love for each other. And so it was a tit for tat. It was meeting to work on scenes. You know, we kind of did it as a pair. And then in season 2, we couldn't lean on each other. The communication between the roles meant that we couldn't even joke around. We just kind of we were charged with in 2 episodes illustrating the broken result of that love affair, because we both kind of work from a real emotional place. There's no like joking around, haha, yeah buddy, and then like, ugh, you're nothing, you're a machine. We didn't really speak when we were working those scenes because we had to prepare. And so then we were tasked with solo create this second version of the character. Like I said, I love a difficult task, and I thought Lisa and Jonah really handed me one.
Yeah.
The second season, and I was so grateful. But I was unprepared until I spoke to Lisa a little more about how he got here this fast, and her explanation was clear and cogent and truthful. So yeah, I just took it and ran with it.
Talk a little bit about that explanation,
Sure.
because as somebody who watches Westworld, you know, I was like, why can't he have compassion for Dolores, or why can't, you know, where I know that his heart is broken, why doesn't he have the ability to have the compassion that he had before?
Because like probably 80% of the wonderful men that you've known in your life that I've known, myself included at some times, when you don't get what you want, and you now feel open and exposed, so you do everything you can to show something else. And that's what it was. Like, I asked specifically to Lisa, I'm like, I mean, I guess I had imagined he would be trying to woo this robot for 20 years before he goes dark, and it would be 20 years of attempts. Why can't you see me like you saw me before? That leads him to this despaired place. But no, she broke his heart. He couldn't deal with it, and he put up all those bricks right away, like a lot of men who don't know how to handle loss. Yeah. Or, like I said, like the insecurity of not being given what you expect. It turns a lot of men into straight up assholes. But it's a defense mechanism. Not that it's okay. I'm not making any excuses for anyone who behaves that way. It's just I've seen it countless times. And so when it was explained to me so clearly, I said, "Oh, shit, he's just a man. He's just a human man." Okay, let's do it. You're right. You're right. That's what they do mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not that he doesn't have the capacity. He just doesn't have the communication skills. He doesn't have the emotional IQ to deal with his inner turmoil without it coming out as steely and very protected by this wall of power, control. I'm calling the shots now. You don't love me? You're nothing. You don't love me? Well, then you're nothing is something I see men do all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Williams know better.
Let's talk a little bit about Riddle of the Sphinx. Not to detract at all from your accomplishments, but how much of your Emmy nomination do you think you owe to Ed Harris?
I would.
And please don't take that the wrong way. It's meant to be funny.
Are you kidding me? Ed Harris has been an idol of mine since Places in the Heart, because that was what I was tasked with. Whereas the first season, we both started. I believe Ed might not have known that young William was him until like the last episode or two.
Wow.
Because he's just focused, doing his thing, and he's like, "Whoa, you're young me." So we were doing completely separate characters. Towards the last couple of episodes, I started sneakily because I knew a little bit earlier, I started watching his work, and I needed to layer in a little bit for the first season. For the second season, it was all about what I had created, and then watching repeatedly, with the help of Lisa and Jonah, the work Ed had created, and figuring out how to plot out the bridge between William, Man in Black, and it's here, and I want to do about here. I want to do the guy here. So obviously I have to pull a lot from what Ed has created, and luckily he's a genius, so I was pulling from a genius, So, gosh, I'm eternally grateful for Ed Harris, not just for his talent, but for being so kind, for being an idol, and then being a kind person and sharing. I write him emails with questions on this business world, and like, what about this world? Would you? And he's a good man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm very
wonderful.
lucky.
Yeah. So for that episode, there are kind of 3 scenes where you play kind of young William, and then you're kind of a hybrid, and then it goes to Ed Harris.
Yeah.
I heard that you had to wear some light prosthetics. You had to do some age makeup.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What were the prosthetics to make you become Ed Harris?
Oh well, there's no actual shape changing prosthetics. There's I affected through performance myself in trying to achieve a slightly more Ed Harrisian jawline and facial kind of cameo. And then they had just the most adept old age makeup I've ever seen. It was so beautifully done, and it was very, very subtle. So that's the only actual prosthetics we did, was some wrinkles and things. But we didn't really change the shape of anything.
Now that you know that the Man in Black is eventually to become a host or some sort of host-like creation, Are you excited to see where the next season goes with the character? And do you maybe already know more than perhaps the people who watch the show?
Believe it or not, I don't, and I'm so sorry. And I've said this before, Lisa and Jonah have orchestrated this perfect rollout for each actor by really not giving them more information than they need to play the given moment to the best of their brilliant ability. Mm-hmm. So their withholding of information is, to me, less about so we don't tell other people, and more they're tools. It's a tool to help us achieve performance at its highest level without having to think about the next step.
Right.
Which is generally your job as an actor, is to kind of tamp down the ending, save it for the end. We don't know the ending, so all we can do is play now.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful.
Yeah.
So I don't know more than you. I bet you know more than me because you probably talk to more people. But putting Ed Harris on another level from what I think is some of the best work he's ever done, and that's saying a whole lot. I am so piqued. I am just like I'm so excited to see a whole nother version of the character Ed Harris has created.
Yes.
I mean, come on. I'd watched the Ed Harris show, so stick him in kind of the most brilliant drama ever made. And I'm very, very excited.
Yeah. What have you learned from working on a project like Westworld, philosophically as well as just as an actor?
Well, all kinds of things. Like philosophically about humanity. I mean, they're commenting on the things that's happening right now, and the way that we can kind of just start working with AI, and we take them for granted, and we get mad when they don't understand us because we're dealing with them in so many forms, and we depend on them, and we're giving them all control. Well, we're giving them all knowledge, all information. We assume they don't have control on any level, and it's something we do need to consider more and more as we depend. Career-wise, it's such a blessing because I was able to work with the finest of everything and see that goodness is paramount. That a big heart and a high work ethic, it was across the board for Westworld, and that was, that's Jonah and Lisa handpicking each actor, each director, each crew member, each designer to facilitate the beautiful telling of an essential story, and it's not just about business. It's about like family and humanity, and of course everything does get kind of boiled down to business with humans, but Jonah and Lisa are taking that and they're making it better. They're actually changing in their own way the world. Information changes everybody, and they're giving you perspective. They're giving you all these things, and on top of that, they're promoting a strict no assholes policy on the set. And it was really encouraging to be working on the grandest project I've ever worked on, and have goodness be so important. So I don't know, on multiple levels. Philosophically, the show's landed with me, to be honest. Yeah, I feel like just absolutely lucky to have found this little spot that I get to do my little thing in. It's wonderful.
Well put, sir.
Yeah.
Jimmi Simpson, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Enjoy the Emmys.
Okay, I will try.